We are live. We are live, and we are going to be talking New York Jets because you know what? Aaron Glenn was talking New York Jets, and you know what? Darren Mougey was talking New York Jets. So I'm going to be talking New York Jets. I'm going to be talking about what they were talking about, and we got a special guest coming up as well. So stay tuned after this intro. It's going to be a fun ride because you know what we got going on. Is Boy Green?
Can you guys help us get a jet chant here? Yeah, going.
Oh.
Okay, right, yeah. Come on in.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go!
J-E-T-S, Jets! Let's go! J-E-T-S, Jets! Let's go! There you go, Woody!
Third Party Thursday.
Chris joining us here on the program with a capital P here on the program.
Jake Asman, come on down. How you doing, good sir?
Wow, what an intro. I mean, the Boy Green is known for having the intro, but Woody, that was unreal, man. Thanks for the kind words, son.
We are men of many names.
My favorite Austrian Jets fan right there, baby.
Boy Green
Meets Woody. Welcome to another episode of Boy Green Meets Woody. Right now, it's just James Woody, rocking everywhere. All right, there's no one over here to shout out yet, but we will be joined not by Boy Green, but by Johnny Boy. All right, so we got another boy showing up on the show. He will be here soon, which is funny because last time, right, instead of Boy Green, we had Green Bean, but now this time, instead of Boy Green, we got Johnny Boy. So we are here with some word play, if you will. Shout out to everybody in the comments. June, I see you, June the GM. We might need you out there for real because I don't know what's going on. I'm not sure what's going on, but we even have Boy Green himself. Okay, he is in the comments. He's out here. So he is here in spirit, just not on the screen. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what type of crazy bananas my man's is saying in the comments. And of course, you know, Brandon Bradshaw, Matthias, Terrence, shout out to all you guys in the chat. But yeah, you know, our front office, they spoke. They spoke this past weekend. They had a lot of things to say. I feel like everybody's been dissecting those quotes. And you know what? I feel like I got to bring out my scalpel. I feel like I can do some dissecting of my own. So that's exactly what we're going to do. When Johnny Boy comes in, I'm sure there are a few things that he would want to talk about as well. But I'm going to start with one that we already spoke about on this show. All right, we're going to talk about Jordan Travis. Last time, was it last week? It was definitely last week, but I can't remember which day last week. Boy Green and I were talking, and I was saying I would be surprised if they just cut Jordan Travis because we don't know what he is. He doesn't cost a lot to keep. And he's just a young player. Like if there's a potential of him being worth anything, that's worth keeping him on instead of just cutting him for everybody else. I did bring the scissors, but don't have to use them right now because I didn't want to cut Jordan Travis. It made me glad to hear that Aaron Glenn pretty sentiment. He was saying that, you know, he'll be given a chance to compete. He didn't know when, right? He had that funny response to Rich Cimini. He said, I'm not a doctor, right? But he said that when Jordan is ready to compete, he will have that chance to compete. And I'm looking forward to it because he should know that the type of crossroads he will face once he is healthy. It's pretty much, you know, rubber to the road and trying to prove that he is, you know, potentially a franchise answer either for this team or another team. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what happens with Jordan Travis. But another thing that I'm looking forward to seeing is, again, our guest, Johnny Boy, his take. So allow me to introduce the man rocking a different New York team, a team that I also am a fan of as well. Johnny Boy is here rocking the blue and orange. Let's go Mets. As a matter of fact, the Syracuse Mets, right, is why Boy Green is not even here for this show. So we rocking the New York Mets. Johnny Boy, how you doing?
Chilling, brother. How you holding up, man?
Doing great. Doing great. Just trying to make sense of all the different things that Aaron Glenn and Darren Mougey said over the weekend. And then of course you already know our boys, they playing tonight. We're gonna see them put some work in on the Marlins as well.
Oh, I know. You saw last night, right? We scored 10 on them.
Yeah, I know.
Peter
And
Alonso.
The Yankee fans, right, been getting hyped with all the runs. And I'm like it's okay. Do you? Like, I'm not even getting mad. Congratulations, Aaron Judge, all those things. But look at my guys. Pete Alonso, like you said, grand slam. So there's just a lot of eating to do in New York baseball. And we try to eat something for New York football because we are starving with New York football.
Well, Woody, I know it's about to be some very crazy takes between you and I, because as always, you and I speak, of course, privately and whatnot, and it's always we kind of not go at it. I wouldn't want to say go at it, but it's exciting. Let's just say that, right? The heel Cena turn, let's just say at times that occurs with this. So I'm looking forward to this. First and foremost, thank you so much for letting me come on the platform and be able to, assist and do a little bit of this. But hey, I rocked this today for BG because I know he's with the Syracuse Mets. But hey, New York Mets all day, every day.
Yes, you already know. So I did start a little bit with the dissecting of quotes. I talked about Jordan Travis, Boy Green, pretty much, echoed what I was saying with AG. Saying, hey, I'm not a doctor, but hey, when he is ready to compete, we're gonna let him compete. Do you have any thoughts on Jordan Travis? Do you think he could be the future? Does this news even move the needle for you? How are you feeling about Jordan Travis as a whole?
What are we talking about right now? Jordan Travis of the past. It's Justin Fields time, baby. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm ready. So he gave the perfect answer to me when he stated, well, I'm not a doctor, right? Look, I love Jordan Travis, right? I feel like it's on the same boat with the whole Aaron Rodgers tip in regards to that was the past. It is what it is. We don't know. I mean, look, I honestly thought coming out of, FSU that I believe Jordan Travis was going to be that guy. But just like what AG said, he's not a doctor. We don't know how severe the actual injury is. We don't know. Nothing's been told to us. Nothing's been said. I mean, my man started taking his stuff off of his Twitter pages, taking the Jets off. I don't know. At the end of the day, I believe in what this regime is going to do. It might not be the exciting moves. It might not be the sexy picks. It might not be the stuff that might move the needle a little bit up for some people. But I tell you this right now, right? When that man speaks, you can't help but to hear that guy talk and listen and truly listen to what he says.
I cannot lie. I do not disagree for the sake of disagreeing. I will wholeheartedly say that yes, when Aaron Glenn speaks, you gotta listen. That's one thing that has been clear from his short time is in the New York Jets. But of course, if you were following Detroit and Hard Knocks and all that different type of stuff, the dude can talk, and he does not pull punches. And he tells it straight. Which is something that we've been missing for a little bit of time. So definitely, I can respect that. But you said you trust this regime wholeheartedly, just full of trust for this regime. So does that include my guy Alan Lazard? All right, they talking about keeping this man. All right, they're talking about maybe working out his contract so he can take a little pay cut, but they are hoping that Alan Lazard is a New York Jet, and they did something that James Woody has done time and time again, which is hype up his run blocking, which people don't seem to take in consideration when they analyze Alan Lazard. So tell me, Mr. Full on board with the squad, are you fully on board with Alan Lazard?
All right, so last season how much I was giving crap to Alan Lazard, right? You and I, we were going at it when it came to that. But this season, I was one of the few that said, I want Lazard back. Why do I want Lazard back? Because I believe in Lazard. He said it yesterday. If you want the ball, you have to block. And what does Lazard do really well? He could block. He's a big body out there. So I want him back. I know people don't like it because if you look at the free agency and wide receivers, I mean, we're talking about cats that are just this close to being in a retirement home. So and we're finally not doing something that we've done in the past to where we spent a crap load of money on guys to get that one last bag that don't really care about the actual emblem that's in front of their jersey itself. They always care more about the name on the back of the jersey itself. And I think Lazard he's going to surprise a lot of people. But Johnny, Lazard gave us so many penalties last year, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? So did the whole entire New York Jets organization last year did as well, not just Alan Lazard. Again, wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4, and they're already telling you that they're going to redo his contract. So give me Lazard, baby. I'm ready.
Wide receiver 4 is disrespect because clear that how is he not 2? He's got to be. It's Garrett, and then it's got to be Alan Lazard. I cannot put. I can't even remember some of the names that they said. Tyler Johnson, Josh Reynolds. I can't put those dudes over Lazard. Man.
Yeah, look, Josh Reynolds gets bad rep, right? But he's another one that has a lot of upside to him as well, and what he did with the previous teams, not only with Detroit, but when he was with Jacksonville, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, the guy's a dog, and they're not talking about. He reminds me of TJ Hujmansada, only because he looks like him. That's the only thing
I'm about to say.
Not the style play, but but hey, it counts for something.
Yes, it sure does. And they actually mentioned Josh Reynolds by name in terms of the run blocking. So I'm definitely expecting a ground and pound offense this year. Expecting 100%. a lot of yards on the ground. Getting wide receivers who can block on the second level. That's a huge step toward being able to break long runs, which I feel like we didn't really see too much of this past year. But we have seen it in the Saleh era because Breece Hall is a monster. And that's my next quote that I'm going to say is that they talked about Breece and AG, who is not shy of giving people compliments and praise. He didn't really give Breece no type of praise. He said, "Oh well, there's actually 3 running backs that we like, and we want to make sure that they all are utilized properly." So if I'm Breece Hall, I'm not sure if I'm liking what I'm hearing. What are your thoughts on the quote itself and Breece's future as a Jet?
That's a tough one, man, because I'm a big Breece Hall fan. Breece Hall signed my daughter's jersey, right? And that was her first ever signed jersey by a New York Jet. Mm-hmm. And so it's one that's really close to the heart. But I think with this regime, they're finally not thinking with their hearts anymore, and it's more with their mind. And I really believe that he might be one of the guys that could be potentially on the trade block, to be honest with you, because with this draft coming up, there's a lot of good running backs that are coming out that you could potentially get. And I mean, you said it yourself right there, right? Breece, not Bruce, but Breece, he's worried, man. What are we talking about? Breece, he couldn't hit the holes. He was always looking to try to go on the outside, right? Just go ahead and go into the C gap and try to hit it for that. I don't know. it's a very question mark when it comes to Brees Hall right now. The talent is there, but I really put a lot of the blame on a lot of the coaching last year, and I think that really regressed a lot of the players that are on the team. And I'm hoping that this time around and this coaching staff will do it and get them back up to where they need to be.
It seems like if there's one person in the comments that I have to say, usually, I can say I agree with. I'm gonna highlight because I couldn't feel stronger. June the Champs out here. Speaking of that, I feel like we need to keep Brees Hall, man. Like I don't even think I think it's disrespect. I feel like AG owes Brees an apology for what he said. Because you look at his rookie year. I mean, man, he was on pace for like 1,600 yards. Like he was about to have a monster season before that ACL tear. The way that he's been brought up, he has a Hall of Famer in his family in Roger Craig, the running back from the 49ers, who himself read dual threat. He was the first player in NFL history to have 1,000 rushing yards and 1,000 receiving yards in a season. That's something that I think Brees can easily attain. He was third in the NFL in scrimmage yards 2 years ago. I think Brees has all the skill in the world. I think he is a top 5 back, talented, talent-wise. But to your point, the coaching wasn't great. I do not think that Braylon and Isaiah Davis are on his level. That's not disrespect to those guys. Both of those guys are very good running backs. Braylon, specifically is a beast, that 3rd and 1, short yardage dog, but also has good hands. Isaiah Davis surprised us with his hands, his elusiveness. But I think Brees is truly the total package at running back. And, you see what the Lions have done with the Sonic and Knuckles, they call themselves, with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. I can't think of a trio right now, a video game trio, Mario, Luigi, and Yoshi or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But you really got to realize, who is the Sonic? Who is the Mario? And I think Brees Hall, you can give him some carries, to keep his longevity, whatever. But there's no player that is as dynamic as him. And before he started this fumbling issue, which he definitely had a fumbling issue this past year, I was willing to argue he's the best ball carrier. Give him the ball and watch what he does with it on the team. But of course now with the fumbles, I'm not gonna say that as loudly. I might whisper that or hope that it happens. But yeah, man, I think we gotta keep Brees, and I think he was wrong for saying that.
But Woody, you're telling me if there's a conversation, right? He's going into his last year, I believe, of the contract, if I'm not mistaken, and you got a team that comes to you say, "Hey, we really like Brees. We're thinking about giving you a second for him in this upcoming draft." That's not a conversation that you're willing to actually open up and be able to go ahead and talk about it.
Well, unfortunately, everybody has a price. Right?
That's what I'm saying. I'm just trying to be honest with it, because that's the thing with us Jet fans, right? We hold on to these players for so long that they're like they're a Jet. Like it's the battered person syndrome, where it's like, it's okay, he treats me right and everything, but meanwhile it's like, but you know what I mean? But it's been so bad, like for everybody else and whatnot. Again, I don't know. I mean, what is this regime value? The running backs, we don't know. I liked Braylon Allen. See, I like those really big, that is willing to go toe to toe and meet you right then and there when he's gonna be able to say, you know what, I'm gonna smack you over because I know that I'm that much tougher than you are, type of running backs. And we have it with Braylon. So I don't know. It's again, Brees Hall, he's one of my favorite Jets on the team. So I'm going to put that out there. But if I'm being an individual that's thinking more with my head than my heart itself, I mean, everybody got a price, and if we want sustainable winning for the upcoming years, he might be one of those chips that might fall to continue to keep building the castle.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Everybody. I mean, Garrett. Everyone has a price. So I can't say that. Oh, Brees is untouchable. But what I will say is that the Jets fan base definitely has that battered. The syndrome, right? Oh, he's a Jet. But the players that you talking about that we've done that with are like Quincy Enunwa, Robbie Anderson, Bilal Powell. No disrespect to either of those three guys. Obviously, he's a Jet, right? What you just said, right? So I respect those guys, but there was at no point where any of those guys were considered like a top 5 player in their position in the league. But that is the case for. That's why I'm saying it's a little different when we talk about Brees and then Sauce. I would even argue no one has said that about Garrett. Like I don't think Garrett is top 5 as a receiver, but it's just that he has not had the downs that Brees. 3 years out, people are still throwing that whole never had 1,000-yard season in our face, but that's not even an accurate measure of his talent because he would have had 1,000 yards if they knew how to do math, and then the year before that, if his ACL remained intact. So, I think that is something that Jets fans do, but with Brees specifically, his potential is sky high. I just hope that a second that's a pretty rich prize. I can't lie.
That's what I mean. Like you're telling me if there's you're not like, hey, other team, come on down. Let's talk if the price is right. Bro, like let's go.
Well, hey, let's go. Brandon Bradshaw, Mr. Bradshaw with the super chat, $10 super chat. Woody Johnny, this man funny. Woody Johnny, rocking everywhere. Did I do it right? I think I did.
I don't know. I think that sounded horrible.
But no, as long as we don't sound horrible, we are here giving you the takes, giving you definitely rocking. Boy again, Green rocking with the Syracuse Mets, but he is here, right? He 3 raffle tickets, and apparently we got other nicknames in here. We got our boy Infrared calling us Beavis and Butthead. I don't know. I don't know if that's more accurate or less accurate than the rocking. But yeah, so we'll move on to the next. As a matter of fact, I'll actually keep it in the same realm, right? Because we talk about Brees, what his future holds. They asked Darren Mougey about Garrett Wilson, Sauce, AVT, what their future holds, and he said that we will look after the draft and hopefully get those conversations rolling after the draft. What do you think about that and those 3 guys? Is that a lock to you? You hope all 3 are Jets. What are you thinking about those 3 and then their plan?
I think the first 2 are the locks. I think those are the guys that are going to get their extension, and they deserve it. And Garrett Wilson, make him a Jet for life. I want that guy to be a Jet for life. I know there's a lot of people out there that are saying, he's not no top 10 guy or top 12 or whatever. Connor Long. Sauce, people act like, Sauce is not a good corner. He is. I mean, what are we even talking about? AVT is the one for me that I think if we elaborate a little bit more in regards to what Mougey was saying, I think he was the one that stated he's going to stay at that position, or it might have been AG. But if that's the case, I hope that he stays in the position that he's at now, and let's see what he does and go from there. And let the market become for him and see what it's going to be in regards to that, because I don't think it'll be a lot. And my hope in this draft is that we do get a right tackle. So we've made the left, the center, and the right tackle done to where the guards, if we got to go guards at some point with AVT leaving and Simpson possibly leaving, I think this is his last year, we'll be in an okay position for that. But I like what Mougey's doing. I don't think he's been breaking the bank. We're finally in a position where we could go many different routes within the draft itself. So make Garrett a Jet for life. Make Sauce a Jet for life if it's possible. AVT is the question mark for me. I can't tell if I'm a chat is Woody frozen? I don't know. Well, that's my take in regards to that, and I think a lot of people feel the same way. A lot of people weren't really giving Sauce the chance last year. Oh, there he is. He's back.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know what's happening. All right, I think we're back. Are we back?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. Did you hear what I said?
Yes. I did hear. I heard the most of it. Right. You know, Sauce and Garrett locks. AVT will have to see now that he's locked in as guard. You know, let's see. And your plan of drafting a right tackle now, then you can react accordingly. Which I won't lie, that's a pretty solid plan. So it's hard to disagree with. But I personally think that we underrate AVT, and it's, you know, a lot of it is injury, right? He's been injured, 2 season-ending injuries. But the other part of it, you know, is that because he's been the musical chairs, you know, we haven't seen, you know, all pro AVT. We've seen spurts. It's kind of like Brees. I actually would put them in a very similar bucket where we've seen, you know, them on pace to be, you know, extreme, you know, top tier players at their position, but we've never seen it happen for a full season. But I would say all 3 of them to me should be extended. I think by extending AVT next to Joe Tippmann, you solidify that interior. John Simpson, I believe this is his last year. If it's not, it's next year. But I believe this is the one.
Is his last year. Yep.
Yeah. So with that being said, I mean, maybe resign, but, you know, if you have, you know, Olu, Joe, AVT, and then right tackle, you know, you can draft. Doesn't have to be 7th, you know, just somewhere where you feel comfortable about that player. Then, like, okay, yeah, you can just replace one player a year. A lot of lines do that. The Eagles O-line literally just did that with Mekhi Becton, and we saw him crying, you know, winning the Super Bowl. The Lions do that. You know, that's how, you know, great offensive lines operate. So I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. I don't know who will be actually extended. I guess that's my whole point of bringing this quote up, is that Joe Douglas used to say something like this, but then absolutely like never even like attempt to sign them. And then the player is like, yo, you said this, and, you know, and now they're all mad. Like every single extension, there had to be beef, there had to be drama. So I'm just so curious. Like I couldn't be more intrigued to see how Darren Mougey operate, because I don't want no, right. And with those 3, definitely don't want no drama with Garrett. You know, and we see him, you know, win a Super Bowl with, you know, I don't even know, the Chiefs or something, like, you know, like, because wherever he goes, he's about to be dynamic. So I need him to be locked up. I need Sauce to be locked up. People who don't think he's a good corner, I feel like it has to come from a place of hate, because he's actually a great corner. Like that, like
Agreed,
there's no
100%.
number to dispute that. So I want all 3 of them to be Jets, and I don't expect all 3 of them to be extended. but I do hope that or I don't expect all three of them to be extended this offseason. Sorry, let me make that very clear. But I would say AVT, if I had to bet on one of them, it would be AVT because he's the only one who this is his last year, right? They might just say, all right, let's kick this down the can for the other two and then extend AVT.
100%. I mean, I don't know. Out of those three, I think Sauce would be the one that would potentially do a holdout. You know, especially now he's with Ice Spice and the whole nine. I think that's her name, if I'm not mistaken, right?
It is.
Ice Spice. You know, so he out here with a phantom, the whole nine, like looking like an old school 1990s rapper and whatnot, which I'm all for it. But I don't know, man. That's what I mean. And again, you kind of hit the point on it with the AVT conversation. Yeah, Philly just did it, but it was a guard, right? Where you could plug and play a person and it's not really going to affect that much. And then that dude got paid because I forgot where he went, but he got paid this offseason as well to play Mr. I am a left tackle. You know, so but hey, good riddance to him. It is what it is. That's a tough one because there's a lot of people that are very torn with all three of those different players. I'm not, you know, I AVT is the question mark one for me.
Damn, yeah. I mean, I'm definitely a big fan of all three. To answer Julio's question, Sauce, he did get banged up, you know, later in the year. I remember there was a tackle he tried to make, I believe, against the Cardinals game where he had to miss some time, but he wasn't, to my knowledge, you know, any major injuries or lingering injuries outside of that shoulder issue. Honestly, coaching, I think that's something the consideration as this team is that they lost coach 5 games, blah blah, you know, all break. But that impacts the game, that impacts 100%. The strategy, and the players themselves are telling you that they were messed up off this decision. They were completely blindsided. Like that's what Sauce himself said. Somebody, and if you know your boss gets fired, what happens? You know, so I feel like to hold Sauce responsible for what happened to him last year, I feel like that's irresponsible because any one of us, if the environment of our job changes, we adapt. We have to change. We cannot, you know, like that is a hardship that we have to overcome, and that's what Sauce had to overcome. You know, we'll see what happens this year with the smooth environment of a new regime.
Yeah, I mean, for the fact that the coaching staff had to teach tackling drills, that's not a good look at all when you are in the you know, NFL level at this point. So they're literally teaching people how to tackle. But I don't want my corner having to tackle a giant tight end, right? Like my starting corner. I don't know, man. It is what it is at this point. And Sauce, he'll be all right. He could take all the hatred that individuals were giving him. But Sauce is a good corner in the league, and people forgot. Like Roy Jones said, y'all must have forgot because he's coming back, baby, this year. Let's go. A big year for Sauce.
Yes, no, I'm definitely looking forward to that. And yeah, I'm super excited to see the future of those three people. What I'm not excited to see is my internet quality fluctuate up and down through the show. But I appreciate all you guys in the comments sticking with us. As a matter of fact, the viewership has been rising. So I guess I don't know. Maybe that's
You know what it is, right?
Is it you? Oh, I
Come on,
don't know.
baby.
I don't know. We get some opposition out here.
Hey, haters gotta hate, baby. And I love my haters. Bring them. As long as you hit the like and make sure you hit that sub button, then we talking.
That's true. That is true. I will say to Bradshaw's point about Sauce not being on Revis's level. That's something that I can wholeheartedly agree with. Just a special shout out to when Boy Green tried to argue with me that Sauce was better than Revis. I do have footage, so I'm not just talking out my ass here.
Is this real life?
Footage. Yeah. Around this time last year, actually, like the off season. That's what he was trying to say. But yeah. So
was that real life?
Say it again.
Was that real life?
That was real. That was real life. Yes, I have footage. It's an episode of Boy Green Meets Woody.
BG, what are we doing, man? There's no comparison.
Well, believe it or not, at that time there were comments that were like, "Oh yeah, like Revis was never, all pro first 2 seasons." It's crazy how much people move the goalposts from year to year. But I think that so I do think Sauce is great. I do think he gets a little bit of flack for coaching issues. But Revis, I mean, he literally is probably the best corner of all time. Like, he is top 3 corner to ever play the game. So it is a little bit different. Yes, I do think they are completely different levels. But yes, I will get the footage. I'll get the footage. I'm not.
Please do and put this out, because that's a wild take. But what else were they saying? What other quotes did you bring out yesterday from the actual meeting?
Last one I'll bring up. Internet provided. Right?
Hey, bro, you're looking real clear right now.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Is Justin Fields obviously is the big name. A lot of people obviously are hype on Justin Fields. And the quote that AG said, which this is a good quote. This man AG, like we just said, right? He knows what to say. He knows what to say. So he said specifically, he's dynamic. Obviously he can make plays with his legs, but what I'm looking for is a quarterback, and we think we, with our coaching, can bring him to the next level. So that, to me, means that they are specifically looking to brush up his throwing mechanics, passing ability, his ability to read a defense, which are all big positives if they can actually succeed in that plan.
I'm hyped for Justin Fields. Like, I know a lot of people are really not. They're not like, oh, it's Justin Fields. He's never done this. First off, the 3 years that he was with Chicago, they was constantly in the bottom of the barrel on their O-line. At that 1 year where he had over 1,100 yards, they were ranked 31 as O-line as a whole, almost dead last. Okay. The Jets had a better offensive line than the Bears did during that time when he had 1,100 yards or whatever it was that he rushed for that year. I think he's going to have a blend of everything together. I think we're going to see a lot more of the arm that not many people are talking about. Shout out to I think it's Talking Flight, is it? Right? With Brandon and them.
Oh, yeah. Take Flight Today.
Take Flight Today.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
He put a really good video out of a lot of the arm stuff. Not old. I'm talking about stuff that he was doing over there with Pittsburgh, and there were dimes. I'm talking about dimes in positions where, so E-Boogie right now, he's very negative in regards to everything going on right now, But again, look, you're telling me if he gives you 20 touchdowns, 10 rushing touchdowns, 700 yards rushing, 22 2,200 yards throwing, passing yards. We wouldn't sign up for that right now. And hoping that the defense is where it's supposed to be again with AG coming on over. I wouldn't want to take that.
At the risk of extending this episode another 45 minutes by going into a deep Justin Fields back and forth, there's a couple of things. One is that I don't think we're gonna see like a top 10 defense or top 5. Like I don't think we're gonna see that.
I think we are. I truly think we are. I think that he's putting in players that, again, they're young. He can mold them into the position and the players that they could be. He said it in there that he wants guys that are great to have Hall of Fame jackets by the end of their tenure in the NFL itself. Like, that's what I'm saying. This guy gets it. He understands it. And I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean, I'll have to see it. I mean, the line, like where he did not have, a top defense like in any of his years in Detroit. And I'm not saying to say that, he can never have a top defense. I'm not saying that, but to assume that, like that is, a big possibility in year one with this roster. I think the roster, I think a lot of you guys are going to be surprised to see which players are actually good and which players were propped up by a solid scheme. Because we saw that with Bryce Huff, right? Everyone talking about, we need to extend Bryce Huff. The boy can't even play 5 snaps on the Eagles. Why is that? Because Saleh was really building these people up to, another team's trash and making them into treasure. And he was kind of producing a factory of those players on the defensive side. And once he got fired, the defense got exposed. I don't think the defense is as good, like the roster is as good as what their production was. And I think that's a huge credit to Saleh. So I think until the roster can be built up again, I'm not expecting a top 5 performance from this team. Quinnen is a dog. Quincy has developed into a dog. Sauce is him. And I really like the signing of Andre Cisco. Everybody else, I feel like is a question mark. That includes Jamie Sherwood, who I know we're all super hyped on right now because he had a lot of solo tackles. But let's see in this new scheme what he's doing. Brandon Stevens, the new cornerback, was getting cooked up in Baltimore. They're saying they have a different plan for him. Let's see. But I can't. There's literally nothing to me that is telling me, this is an elite defense this upcoming year. Which then leads me to say, okay, now Fields is gonna have to play catch up, right? He's gonna, and we've already seen him have bad defenses in the past, and we've seen how that went. So yeah, like I can't say like I'm hyped on Fields. If we had a defense of the Steelers, Fields is a QB, okay, maybe we can sneak into the wild card, but I don't think we have anything close to that yet.
I mean, I look again. I think we're gonna have 9 wins this year. Like that's how confident I am on this squad, and I think we're just on the cusp of being able to talk about playoffs. And we would have to have a lot of different things fall in our place for us to make it to that place within the playoffs itself in the wild card position. I really do. Like they're getting guys that again nobody knows about. Right when they signed Stevens, everybody was like Googling that. ASAP, Brendan Stevens, where? Oh, he was in Baltimore. Well, he must have been good and all that. And then you saw what it is. But again, the scouting mentality that AG has, for me, it's big. And it's something that's not being talked enough about. And I trust it. And I believe it. Because look what he did with the backups to the backups to the backups in that defense, right? He knows how to get the best out of a lot of these players, and I think he's going to with this team. This team has a lot of all-stars that are there, but it's not going to – you don't need a full roster of all-stars. And I think that's been the biggest issue that us as fans consistently want. We want the big names. We want the big splashes to come on over here. Bro, there was people that the guy from Philly, the DT that got paid a lot this upcoming.
Oh, yeah, from he went to New England. I can't even remember his name right now. But yes.
Everybody pounding the table for that and all that. Could you imagine if you would have signed him, right? That's all we would have signed. That would have been it. And every other hole that we've had would have been leaking still right now because of that. But they didn't do it this time around. Let him go. Let him go to the Patriots. Let him go over there.
I don't, because I keep hearing I hear that argument a lot. Like, you know, oh, we're not chasing the big name, but I feel like Joe Douglas last year his job was on the line. So yes, you know, Tyron Smith, all that, but I feel like his whole MO was doing that. Like DJ Reed wasn't a big name. A lot of people criticized the DJ Reed pickup, but it turned out being one of the best free agent signings. Like I feel like that's what we've been doing.
I don't know, man. We were signing some cast that we were all like, man, this guy is the best thing coming. We got Hassan Reddick, baby. Let's go. I don't care.
That's what, like I said, last year his job was on the line, so he went big fish hunting. But remember, he was a GM for like 5 years. Like there was no other season. In my opinion, I feel the last like big signing was CJ Mosley, which predated Joe Douglas. Like he would keep with these bargain bins that, you know, at the time people were like, I don't know. And a lot of them turned out, or some of them turned out great, like a DJ Reed, some of them not so great, like Laken Tomlinson. But I don't know, because I've heard that argument a lot now recently, like, oh, you know, we're finally not going after big names. I wish we were going after big names before, because last year was the only year, and we fired our coach. So yeah. I can't even say like, oh, see, that's why you don't do it, because you also need a coach, and you know, for I don't care how big the names are, you also need a coach. So I can't co-sign that part of it, that like, oh, we've been signing big names this whole time and striking out, because we haven't. We've had to develop every player that we're talking about as somebody that, you know, was drafted or, you know, developed by the previous regime. It's not like we signed any type of big name free agent. So I don't know. I think we definitely got to see with AG. But as of right now, I mean, you know, I'm definitely not super hyped on the defense. I'm actually more, I don't want to say confident, but I think the offense has a higher ceiling than the defense right now.
I mean, it's because it's unknown and it's a lot of change, right? And I think a lot of people, not saying you, Woody, but people don't like change. And I'm somebody that actually welcomes change because I think it's necessary, and it's a mentality that I think a lot of and I can't speak for everybody, right? But it needs to occur, man. It happened in other teams when they were doing like, get the guy out before he even knows that he's done. And I'm hoping that's what starts to occur with these guys and all that. Like, I heard it the other night, and with Phil, the adults are finally in the room. Like, and it feels like that this time around. You know, we're not getting those interviews where he's just saying to appease the media. Now, my man is saying, bro, I'm not a doctor. Like, why are you talking to me about stuff that makes no sense? This is stupid. Like, stop it. Right? Or you ask, bro, you just asked me the same question all over again. I love that stuff, man. That just, you could feel that intensity that's been lacking with us for a while. And it's finally here. You know, look, at the end of the day, you and I, Woody, we're diehards, bro. We talk about this team constantly. We talk about this team constantly too, because you already know what time it is. Big shout out to Three Sibs, Jay, huge Mets fan. If people don't know, he be trying to talk smack, but he a big Mets fan as well. Yeah, he's a big Mets fan, man. He loves them. But I'm ready for the season. Like, what's coming out? I'm excited for the draft. My perfect scenario, and BG put it up this morning. I forgot who was the reporter that put it out, but if we were to trade back with Chicago, and we would end up picking up their second at 70, the 72nd pick, right? And then we're giving up a fifth and swapping the first round picks, going from 7 to I believe 10. I would do that within a heartbeat, because then we would have 72 and 73 back to back in the third round. And I'm ready, man, because we need guys that all from day one to hit the pavement running ASAP. Because and I think we will. It's I don't know, man. I'm hyped for Fields, bro. I wanted that dude from Ohio forever and a day. I was all about the cat, and this is coming from a Georgia Bulldogs fan right here. And I don't like Ohio at all, but I was always intrigued by Fields, man.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't have any of that excitement for Fields, but I do have hope for the team. Like you said, die hard. So regardless of my feelings for the individual players, like I hated Zach Wilson, never wanted him on the team, but I was still out here hoping that, somehow, some way he was going to turn into the stud that not, you specifically, but, a lot of people were trying to tell me that he was supposed to be, he's the next this, the next that. Okay. All right. Not the next Jamarcus Russell. Okay, fine. Let's do it. But I really like this point, in a new regime. I was hoping to see some free agents that, help turn the tide. We saw that with the Commanders, like they signed vets to help the young guys reach that next hump. I feel like that's a huge step in rebuilding a team. But another philosophy is to build in the draft. You got 8 picks in the draft. To your point, Johnny Boy, you can trade back and get even more picks. So this is their chance, in 22 days, 23 days. That is when I personally will know how confident I am in the team. Really, from that point till week 1, my confidence really is where nothing's going to happen, right? It's just training camp cuts and all that type of stuff. But so that really will solidify how I feel. Because right now for free agency, okay, I understand the point of young guys, hungry, all those points. Okay, we'll see. It's a whole lot of unproven, a whole lot of ifs have to go. That's why my article on jetnation.com is Aaron Glenn and the power of if, because that's what we talk about. If this, if that, if this, if that. But with the draft, you could get more sure things or more high probability things. And that's where I feel like Joe Douglas kind of failed. Like, I feel like he actually added some sneaky good people like Quincy, like DJ Reed, who I said before. But all of his high draft, other than 2022, of course, all of his high draft picks were kind of stinkers. Makai didn't do much for us. Denzel Mims was off the team. Elijah Moore was off the team. Zach Wilson was garbage. Like, all his high round draft picks were trash. And then there was Saleh, who was making the late round draft picks do well, Sherwood and Michael Carter II and stuff like that. So if this regime can actually hit their early picks and also develop those late round picks, then let's go. I'm hyped. But right now, talking on April 1st, I just feel like a fool. Trying to say something about, I can't even say.
I see what you did there. That was good. That was good, bro. Hey, I like that.
Yo, we gotta do what we gotta do. We'll wrap up at this point. I'll say one thing to our boy Terrence. I hate going to baseball games at this time of year. It's free. Well, in New York, of course, because it's freezing. I made that mistake one time. Oh my God, night game in April. Went with my gramps, and we almost died. I felt like I was on the set of Titanic. I could see my breath the whole game. I couldn't even drive. I had to sit in the car just 15 minutes to heat up before we could even drive. It was crazy.
Yeah, I would have loved to have been there. My uncle hit me up. Shout out to my uncle Bobby. He hit me up. He was like, "Hey, you coming down for the home opener?" I was like, if I didn't have my kids, you already know I would have been there. But I will be at the July game for when they retire my favorite my second favorite Met of all time.
Mm.
Oh captain, our captain, Mr. D. Wright. Cannot wait, man. So it'll be a good time.
Yes, yes. And thank you, everybody. 400 in the room. Appreciate you guys watching across all the different ways you can watch this show. Johnny Boy, thank you so much for, accepting the call, joining me right here and just talking New York Jets. It is always a pleasure. Anytime I have the privilege of speaking to you, Wi-Fi provided, but, just being able to speak with you, pick your brain, talk about this team that we all love so much, the New York Jets. It is an honor and a privilege. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, Woody, I appreciate you hitting me up and asking me to come on over and guest over here as well. I'm always here, man, rocking with you. Look forward to it again. If just hit me up just in case I don't make it home tonight. You know what I mean? Shout out to my old heads if they remember that song itself. But I really do, look forward to the season. I think patience is something that we're gonna have to have a lot of it, right? And they say what Rome wasn't built in one day type of thing. I just it'll be all right. I think the course is being set the right way. And I think it'll be a course that will go for a while and keep going up and up and up from them, man. So, Friday coming up, I got the Jets Worldwide show coming. If you guys want to come on, swing by 7:30, myself and Mr. Snowball, my partner in crime. We're actually having a fun one this week. We actually are having Mr. Staley coming on to our show itself. So, this is a exclusive. Not many people know about it. So, but I'll put it out here with you, Woody, real quick. But yeah, he's coming on to the show, so we're really looking forward to pick his brain a little bit in regards to, because he was the guy that was out there during a lot of the conference pressers that they had right now, the interviews and everything with that. So I'm really, really looking forward to kind of pick his head on that as well. But the last thing I wanted to say to you real quick, Woody, you did hear what they said about the tight ends, right?
What? No, I don't think I did.
They feel really good about their tight ends.
Oh, yes. Okay, yes.
So I don't know, my man Tyler Warren's coming here, baby.
Yeah. Hey, this is one of my, they had the Bowers boys of last year. I love the Warrens Warriors. I don't know. I just feel, because I was a Bowers boy. I really was rooting for Brock, and I think he's better than Warren. So like my whole thing is, if we didn't get Brock at 10, are we really gonna get Warren at 7?
Thank you.
Thank you. He definitely would provide value on the team. And again, like if players become great, no one is thinking like, oh, like when were they drafted? Like no one is ever going to say, oh, that's an overdraft, right? When you draft, George Kittle, but in order for that to happen, they need to become George Kittle. They cannot become Jeremy Rucker, so it's if that's who they go with, I have no choice, or we have no choice but to respect their decision. I feel like there's a lot of choices that they could come up with that I'll be okay with. And Tyler Warren is one of them, especially if we got Garrett, Lazard, Stone Smart. Like, what are we talking about? Like, get me another pass catcher, and I'm cool with that. But yeah.
I mean, this draft is deep with them, right?
It is.
So
it is.
I can't see myself picking a tight end at 7. Give me the right tackle or give me a wide receiver, and I'm Gucci with that one. Not in that position, man, because especially this upcoming draft is going to be a lot.
This cracked me up. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's true, man. Let that man cook, man. Let Stone Cold Smart cook, baby, because he's ready to hit him with the 316.
Yes. Well, Sharon, everybody, thank you again. Watching over 400. The number keeps climbing. I almost don't want to leave, but I know my friends at Google Fiber are going to cut me off at some point. So Thank you again.
Mougey. That was definitely Mougey.
Johnny Boy, he will be live Jets Worldwide Friday with the one and only Antoine Staley, who, yes, was asking some of the questions that we went over. We literally went over Antoine Staley's questions, and then now they'll be able to talk to him this Friday on Jets Worldwide. You already know, Boy Green and myself, he will be back. The Mets will not be playing on Thursday. 3 p.m. normal start time. We'll be talking Jets. Appreciate you guys. And, of course, Boy Green Daily in the morning. Everybody, have a great rest of your day. Johnny Boy, let's go Mets.
Let's go Mets, baby.